Will do. Thank you. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I want to also remind the board, when you're speaking, please turn your mic on. I'm going to call roll. Ms. Vosberg? Here. Mr. Maroney? Here. Mr. Gear is not with us. I don't know if have we been in contact with him any chance?
Usually does. He calls in, so I don't know if she'll be contacted.
Okay, we'll put him as absent then. Mr. LaBelle? Here. Mr. Smith?
Here.
And Ms. Hickey?
Here.
Okay, and we also have Gary DeMasters from the Building Department with us this evening. The way we normally run our meeting is I will invite the petitioner up, come up to the podium, or the petitioner representative, state the reason that they're in front of us this evening. And we'll then come back to the Township ZBA, and we'll ask any questions. Once with that, we will turn it out to the public. Any of the public will be able to speak on it. I wish that you don't be repetitious or be courteous to the items. And then once I close it down for the public, I will not return it back to the public, but I will read comments from the petitioner. And once we get from there, if we have everything in front of us this evening, we will move ahead with our decision this evening. We do have 3 items. We are missing 1 member this evening. And we do need 4 positive votes to get something to pass. I don't see that's going to be a problem tonight. So let's go ahead with our first agenda item. And, you know, I didn't put the agenda here, did I? Okay, I believe that is ZBA petition 23-05. And as you know, this has been tabled from a previous meeting. Mr. DeMaster, I'm going to ask you, have you been in touch with the petitioner? And
We have been in touch with the petitioner, and he said he is not going to further on the variance because he don't think he can do it with the electrical and everything, so he's decided not to do the variance, and he was supposed to send in a letter stating he wouldn't, but he didn't. So it's up to you, the board, to make a decision on it.
Okay. Generally, I don't like, moving on someone that's no one representing, but as we have talked prior, I think we came to the conclusion there was a lot of obstacles for him to overcome. Electrical, septic system, which are totally out of our area to actually pass judgment on. So, what's the board's pleasure?
I'll make a motion to deny petition 2023-5 for a pool, new in-ground pool. On the main reason is that the submitter is not here, not present to give us the request that we had.
I'll support that with the conclusion that, I'll support that, okay. Any additional comments or concerns on the motion? All in favor, say an aye. Aye. Petition has been denied. Thank you. Moving right along is we have ZBA petition 2306. And is anyone you're representing? Yes. Good to see you, Counselor. We had Mr. Sievert visiting last meeting.
You didn't bring him tonight?
No, I guess he has a big packed agenda. I don't know. I know.
How's that? Want me to restate my name?
Well, you're good. Go ahead.
Bob Kirk, 19500 Hall Road, Clinton Township, Michigan. Thank you for being here tonight and working with us on this project. I'm here on behalf of Skilkin Gold, who's the developer for the Sheets project. With me is a big group here who can answer any questions I might not be able to answer. There with the team, engineering, operations, whatever you might have. I think you all know it's a site on southeast corner of 23 and Donner. It's 1.5 acres. Sheets is 70 years old, 700 locations. It's kind of a unique and use in that it's a gas station, but yet they make made-to-order, quick-serve food in the store, and there's also retail. They've been around 70 years, 700 stores in 7 states. They're coming into Michigan now. They're excited about Chesterfield Township. They think this location's a great spot, kind of a gateway to Chesterfield Township. One of the problems we have is that on the site right now, it's outdated gas station, auto repair facility. With any redevelopment, you're going to find developers will need some help with regard potentially to variances. We represent Shelby for 25 years, a lot of open space. It's easy to make the ordinances work when you have a clean slate, but when you're working on an existing site, such as this one, with that right-of-way cutting across the northwest corner and also the storm sewer, it makes it a little challenging to build on. In addition, the site's contaminated. There's going to have to be substantial cleanup with regard to that from the existing gas station. Tonight, we're asking for 2 variances, and I'll go through those with you. We're coming here prior to going to site plan. We talked to Jonathan, so we need to, no sense going to site plan. We're going to come back for variances. We want to see if these variances be granted, so if they know if the project's viable or not. The first one, let me pass on something real quick. What I'm passing out is a Google Earth picture of the site as it exists. And although it's in our packet, I thought it important to bring it tonight with regard to the rear yard setback. You require a 50-yard rear setback, which would be our south property line. We're requesting that the 30-foot setback, which is there now with the storm sewer, remain, and we get a 20-foot variance to put our building on the site. If you see right now, along that property line, we have a truck. I'm not sure if it's idling or not. The truck gas pumps are along there. I'm sure there's noise, light issues, and then we have the repair facility there. I haven't been in that, but I'm sure there's pneumatic tools, maybe in the summertime, doors open. So all this could affect the residential to the south, and we're looking to protect that. What we're looking to do is build our building right up along that property line. It's a 19-foot tall building, all brick, and then along the sides of the building, there'll be wing walls of 6 feet for additional protection. The pond will remain as it is. We might do some additional planting and cleaning out on this side of it. There's no doors or windows on the back of our store, so there won't be any light emissions, noise emissions, anything like that. So because of that, we think we'll have better protection for the residents to the south. There'll be no trucks idling over there. There should be no noise, and they should have good protection, and that's the reason for our rear yard setback. The second request is for parking spaces. We're requesting a 3-space variance. As I said before, this use is very unique in that it's kind of a quick-serve restaurant, retail, and gas. So we blend into some various sections of the ordinance with regard to parking. In addition, we're providing 37, 40 is required. There's also 12 spaces at the pump. With regard to the site plan, we have one of the issues is that road right away that cuts off the northwest corner, so there'll be some green space there, but we cannot utilize it. We took away one of the curb cuts on 23 Mile Road, utilized one more to the east, which we think will help traffic. And in addition, in our site, with regard to the spaces, we do keep wide turning aisles in there, so we won't have much congestion within the site. Based on our experience, that parking will be sufficient to service the Sheetz operation. I can go through the factors. The factors of the variances, practical difficulties. In this case, we have a redeveloped site. That's really it's a problem to reconstruct with any type of use, but we think this is a great use. It's irregular in shape. We have the storm sewer. We have this outdated gas station. And due to the shape, size, existing conditions, we think we have a practical difficulty with regard to redevelopment of this parcel. And we think that what your last factor is with regard is not contrary to the spirit and intent of the chapter. I think your chapter looks to try to give some relief when needed, and it's justified, and I think we've done that. If you have any questions, our rest of the group is here to address those.
Mr. LaBelle, this hasn't been at planning, am I correct in saying that?
Not yet.
Have you been aware of this project already or not?
I've been made aware of it, yes.
Okay, can you give me any input on that area or what?
I am aware of it. There's really nothing yet. What is my term? I certainly have comments.
Right.
We don't deliberate prior
Right,
to,
right.
prior to them coming in front of us, so the public has an opportunity to hear what we say, hear what we say. So anyways. when it
But
is
this
my
is
turn-
this is kind of in lines with the other project there off of Sasson 23, isn't it?
It is.
It is,
It
yeah.
is. It's the same kind of concept.
Same kind of concept,
Yes,
right,
it
yes,
is.
where CB gas stations seem to be going to
Yep,
that.
yep.
Opposed to, for a long time, stations would come in with, a car wash
Yeah.
and everything associated, and, a Quickie Mart and stuff like that. Now they're, seem to be going to more of a food type.
Our times are changing, and that's
Yes.
exactly what we're seeing now,
Right.
is, people are in a hurry, they're always looking for something quick and easy to eat. and
Right.
Get gas, cigarettes, things of that nature, so yes.
Okay, any questions, please?
Well, Mr. Kirk, first of all, let's talk about, of course, it's the chairman's decision, we'll make a decision on each variance. The first one being the setback. So what is the existing dimension from the back of the building to the property line now, the existing building? If I read the drawings correctly, I see 59 feet.
It could be, I think that's to that canopy maybe, and I'm just looking, I don't have that drawing, anybody?
Would you- If you would step up, please, and answer the question.
Yes, please sign in, thank you. State your name.
Drew Richland with Skilk and Gold, 4270 Morris Road, Columbus, Ohio. Mr. LaBelle, what drawing are you referring to with the 59?
We received a packet, and I lost it when I was
Okay,
putting my computer here.
it must be the land
There was,
survey.
it's an existing site package that had a dimension. I'll get you the drawing number in 2 seconds here.
Tyler,
I moved my computer forward and I lost the page.
that's fine.
I think our main question is, what's the current setback with the current building, you're correct?
Yeah, that's the question, is how much, in my eyes, we're really not deviating very much from what is existing.
Right.
I would say that's correct.
Okay, I've got it.
I think,
Okay, so the drawing that I'm looking at is, it came from, it is page 1 of 2. The drawing number is N602. It shows the existing site, it shows everything that's on the existing site, and I'm seeing a dimension of 59.92. And it looks like it's to the property line. Now, the new dimension that you have, or on the new drawing that I have, it shows but that is to the property line, and that dimension also includes the detention pond. Now, the new drawing that I have shows 30 feet. No, I'm sorry, it shows a 50 feet to the property line.
Yeah,
So we're talking about a 9-foot difference to what's existing.
So the existing building is roughly 60 feet from the property line?
From the property line, the new one that,
The
right,
fuel,
exists, yeah.
the fuel canopy is the existing fuel canopy, is closer to that, so that's probably closer to, maybe 40, maybe 50. I don't have a dimension on here to give you the exact number.
And that's what I'm seeing as well. I mean, there's already a situation there where it wasn't compliant, but, so we're not really deviating very much from what is existing in my eyes. When you include the transformer that's in the back of the building, we're at about the same dimension. There was also a comment made that you're gonna remediate the whole site. Is the soil pretty bad?
Yes, there's 2 known release events that took place due to the underground petroleum tanks that are in place today. before the site would be, as a part of the redevelopment, all of that would be cleaned up per state and federal standards.
Okay, okay. So I mean, it's an opportunity for our residents to have clean ground in our township.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, that's all I have, Mr.
Thank
Chairman.
you.
Thank you.
Mr. Barone, please.
Mr. LaBelle covered pretty much everything I had a question on. Distances usually are my thing, so it looks good to me.
Ms. Osler, please.
Those were my questions too. One other one. There are 2 entrances off from 23 Mile currently, and you're gonna block off the west one?
Yes, ma'am, we're
And
reducing.
then are you gonna make a new one or use the existing, or most of the existing one?
We will build a new concrete apron. Everything that you see out on that site today will be raised. The contamination will be cleaned, and we'll propose new pavement services, an entirely new building. Yeah, so, we'll wipe everything clean up on 23 Mile, and then we'll ultimately be reducing the curb cuts from 2 today to what'll be 1 in the future. And not only are we reducing the number of curb cuts, but we're reducing the number of movements that are permitted. So right now on 23 Mile, there's 2 curb cuts, and both curb cuts you can make all turning movements. It's usually the left turning movement that creates the unsafe, the left out movement that creates the unsafe condition.
Mm-hmm.
We're eliminating that left out on the 1 curb cut that we're proposing on 23 Mile.
Okay. And this is just curiosity, doesn't influence my decision or anything, but do you have to get permission from the County Department of Roads for that curb cut off from 23 Mile?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, on 23 Mile, we would need to get permission from MDOT.
Oh, from
Because
MDOT.
that's a
Yeah,
state road.
right.
Now, the Donner on the west part of our site, we would need that falls into the county's jurisdiction.
Right.
But the county and MDOT have reviewed our traffic study and what we're showing today thus far.
Sure, so they will take into consideration the traffic patterns and the existing businesses and those sorts of things?
Yes,
All right,
ma'am.
thank you.
Yes.
That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Ziki, please.
All the questions I had have been answered, so I'm feeling pretty good about everything. I'm excited to see a new business coming to town potentially, and I think it would be really good for the community. Thank you.
Mr. Smith, sir.
So the site plan that you submitted requires the 2 variances. So obviously, the next question is, can you redesign the site to bring it into compliance with the ordinance? Is it necessary to have the building in the same position that it is on the site? Is it necessary to have the same number of pumps, for example? You've submitted 12 pumps. By reducing it to 10, you would actually reduce the number of required spaces for the variance, and you would also increase the ability for the trucks to move throughout the site itself. So ultimately, the question is, can the site be used in a way that's consistent with the zoning ordinance by simply reorganizing and redesigning the site plan?
I appreciate the question, and I think the short answer to that is no, we've not been able to do that. In regards to the number of fuel pumps, if we went down from, I think you said 12 to 10, so I guess let me take a step back by saying in our parking quantity, we did not account for the 12 stalls that would technically exist at the fuel canopy. If we could count those 12 stalls, there would be no variance that would be needed. So while I do appreciate, your recommendation to go down from 12 to 10, if we could count the stalls anyways, there wouldn't be a variance we would need for that component or for that variance. In terms of layout, I can tell you we looked at laying this out 10 different ways. And this was what we came up with. This is the least bad option we could come up with. For a few reasons, we landed on this. One, this gave us the opportunity for the greatest number of stalls we could get, and obviously parking is one of the variances we need. It was also an objective of ours to keep the fuel canopy as far from the residents as possible. So by putting the building on the rear, on this south side of the property, it allows us to keep the fuel away.
No further questions.
Well, unfortunately, I'm gonna show my age here. I remember when this came to us, when this thing was first developed back in the day. And this site has really deteriorated, and like we talked earlier, I think the way we're approaching service stations are changing, and I think that's a good thing. You know, by looking at this plan, and you look at that 30 feet that's back there already where the easement, where the drain, you could take that 30 feet and follow it all the way down past Taco Bell, Buscemi's, and on and on. So pretty much everyone's consistent there. The problem I have, if we pull this building more closer to 23 Mile, you know, that extra 20 feet, what's gonna happen there? You're probably gonna put a driveway in there to access the rear of the building. And, you know, for the safety of the community, I would not recommend that. And I notice on your plan, the dumpster is on the side, which is not in the back either. So you actually have that buffer, that building buffer, that's buffering, you know, the noise from the road and also from the camper. Unless I'm wrong in saying that.
No, I think those are great points.
Yeah.
I think those are great points.
I'm not trying to, you know, move your case, I'm just trying to say the way I'm looking at it, and you know, as the site had matured, you know, we had a lot of cars parked, you know, against the Taco Bell side that were in for repair or not. And cars parked around there. I know a couple times I stopped in gas and there were cars like all over, like, and they weren't running cars, they were cars to be repaired. So I think by moving this site and actually cleaning it up may be a positive. That's the way I'm looking at it this evening. I'm gonna open it up to the public. Gentlemen, if you could just step aside, anyone in the public wish to address it, please come forward, sign in, and state your reasonings, please. Thank you. Long as within parameters. I really don't have a clock, but we're gonna.
Mr. Chair, I would suggest a time, in fairness to everyone.
If we want to, someone want to keep a time for me? How long do we want to go with?
In planning, we typically have 3 minutes.
3 minutes, sounds good to me. Okay, got a timer going for me? Appreciate it, thank you so much.
Hi, good evening. My name is Janice Young. I live at 28714 Yorkshire, which is in Stonehenge subdivision off of Donner. I'm not in favor of this development. I'm going to list some reasons why. I didn't know anything about Sheets, so I looked it up. It is considered a truck stop. This is a residential area that Donner leads to all residential. That is all that's back there. So that's not really going to be conducive to a residential neighborhood. Couple things about them. They have high tobacco sales. I'm not a smoker. I'm not a fan of that. Don't think it's good for people in general. It's my opinion. Can't tell people what to do. It's just more junk food in the neighborhood. I think we have fast food restaurants. In fact, we have another fried chicken place already coming, and I don't think we need any more of that in there. I don't think anybody wants it either. I also know that they sell liquor and beer at other locations. I don't know if that's the plan for this location, but that currently is not a liquor store that's there, and I don't think that would be ideal to have at the entrance to a residential area. It's also a 24/7 facility, from what I understand. That is not what's there currently, and again, maybe I'm old, I'm of the mindset, nothing good happens after midnight, so I don't know that having a truck stop that's 24/7 at the entrance to an all-residential area is really an ideal thing. And that also brings up the element of crime, you know. It's a nice neighborhood back there, and I certainly don't want there to be any issues with crime. We have a fair amount as it is. I don't want to bring any more. I do believe it would have a negative impact on the property values of not only those homeowners, but I think everybody up and down Donner, and even as far down as Cotton. I didn't see a traffic study provided to the public to see, so I would be interested in seeing that if that's available. I don't know how that intersection could actually handle traffic 24/7. You know, I know traffic is not a topic for debate on other planning issues, but, you know, we do have some bad developments already on 23 Mile Road as far as like Starbucks, and with the Chick-fil-A coming down there, it's already going to be significantly increased. So whatever traffic study they have, does it include the Chick-fil-A traffic in there? And I just find it really interesting that the rep from the company here said that their plan is the least bad option. That's kind of sad that was how they presented their plan, as the least bad option. So I respectfully request that this be denied. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anybody else?
Good evening. My name is Nicole Cole, and I am on the board for the Woods Condos. And we have some concerns because now they want to butt up to our property. And like Janice said, it's going to be a 24-hour operation. So the noise, the trucks, 24 hours a day. 23 and Donner is already a disaster for traffic. It's horrible getting in and out of there to get onto 23 Mile Road. And it's gonna bring down our property values. Is there going to be a PA system out there also?
That is not in front of us, I don't really
Okay.
know. And
So, I
that's
mean,
not-
that's a concern, you know, if they're gonna have a PA system all hours of the night, you're gonna hear people, you know, talking over the PA. But I also would respectfully like for it to be declined just for our property value and the traffic mess that it's gonna cause.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
My name is Sue Palmer, and I live in the Woods Condos, and I'm very unhappy about this proposition. I'm concerned about a 19-foot wall. We have wetlands right there, a retention pond. I mean, is there a water table study being done? I mean, because it fills up, will that wall stay there? We have high winds sometimes, the wall will tumble down. And why do they have to come closer to our property line?
Just for a note, I believe the 19-foot wall is the building structure, not a individual wall. It's the building structure's 19 feet tall.
Okay, I didn't understand that. Okay, we heard it as a 19-foot wall. And just getting out onto Donner now, because there's so much traffic coming from Sugar Bush and Cotton, because there's so much traffic over there, it's now coming on Donner. And to have big truck semis on our street to turn out, it's gonna be horrible, because it's bad now. Thank you, and I don't want this to go through.
The only thing I could say regarding the truck stop, by looking at this development, there is not room any way, shape, or form for a major truck shop, kind of like a Love's or the, you know, what is the other one, Flying J or something of that nature. Most of this probably is gonna have to be residential cars. I don't really see any accommodations for additional truck stops. You're just gonna have one group of canopies for fuel and the service. It's not gonna be large enough for trucks to actually make the turn or actually spend any time during nights. Please go ahead, thank you.
Yes, sir. My name's Rebecca Slater. I do currently live in the units behind the current businesses for 23 Mile in the Woods Complex. I don't condone new businesses coming into the township at all. That is great to hear and all that. But this particular business with a 6-foot actual retaining wall that's going to butt up with the 19-foot wall for the building itself, it will not help reduce any of the noise at all that we get from not only the vehicles that come in, as well as to reduce the sound and noise, as well as they possibly put in a music system or something out into that, being a 24-hour business. I don't think it should be allowed into the thing. Without more studies to this, to the residents that live actually behind the current businesses that they have right now.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Anybody else? I don't know if we got any correspondence. Everything is so online now, I don't see anything in our folder. So we don't have any communication from anybody regarding this. I don't think anybody see anything in the packet, something like that. Okay, just want to make that aware of it. Okay, I will assist from the public comments. Representative, please take the podium again, and anything you wish to add at this time.
Andrew Richland, Skilk & Gold. We appreciate all of the comments that the neighbor has provided, and I want to provide some additional information that I think will help us all understand the proposal a little bit better. This is 100% not a truck stop. Trucks are not permitted to come fuel up and park on this property. Sheets does have some truck stops, Sheets has some developments that are more oriented towards auto diesel semis. This isn't one of them by any means. 18-wheelers can't fuel up at the fuel canopy here. 18-wheelers need to fill up at a high-flow diesel pump. These pumps that we have are standard flow and don't provide the speed of filling that 50 to 100-gallon tanks provide. So it's not at all a truck stop. I did reach out to JBC Property Management Group, who manages the Woods condos to some degree. I offered the opportunity to share this project prior to the hearing. My information was shared to the Woods Condo Association through JBC Group. I never heard back. I would have been happy to have spoken with you guys and answer any questions, but that opportunity wasn't provided to me.
You can't talk that way.
Yeah.
Did you have a question? You address the board first.
I think the board and JBC decided to ask the questions tonight.
Okay, okay, thank you so much. No problem. I just kind of try to keep it organized, which is a chore in itself. I'm sorry, please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. Liquor is not sold at this establishment whatsoever.
Can you address the PA system that was brought up?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
The PA system is used for safety and emergencies. It's not a system that's used on a regular basis just to talk to customers. It's a safety and emergency feature. Would you say that's the case, Dave?
David Bruckelmeyer Rasheets, 39300 West 12 Mile Road, Farmington Hills, Michigan. On the matter of the PA system, we do use it to occasionally announce an order number for the food. So that's something that does come up. It's pretty uncommon. It's very infrequent.
Would that be projected outside, is that correct?
It is projected outside. It will be projected away from the apartments and won't be out there. It's really for somebody under the fuel canopy, which is why we've placed the fuel canopy, as far towards 23 Mile as we can. Understanding that's probably the most loud and, light-oriented item on our site. So we've tried to keep that away from the residences. Another thing to point out about the PA system, we have active monitoring on our site at all times. We have about 50 to 60 cameras per site, high definition, and we have a team back in Altoona, Pennsylvania that's monitoring these things. And sometimes we get a loiterer or somebody that's causing some kind of problem on site. We can actually use that PA system remotely from central Pennsylvania to talk to people and say, hey, we see you, get off of our lot, you're not allowed to be here. So it goes both ways. It's operational and safety.
And, question I brought up earlier, with this building not having a back to it, no alleyway or driveway.
Yeah.
I mean, that would then reduce any type of problems your company would have, correct?
As far as people loitering?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's the intent, is to try to back that right up to landscaping.
Yes.
Not have any kind of space for parking, you know, obviously no benches, nothing like that for people to hang out back there. We're definitely
deliveries
discouraging that.
will be handled via the front, am I correct in saying that?
Correct, yeah, so our food deliveries and things like that would come through one of our entrance doors that would not be on that backside. And then obviously you may see on the site plan that our fuel UST system is out on the corner of Donner and 12 Mile, or
Okay.
23 Mile. So we've kind of kept that as far away as we could.
And also your dumpster is, on the side of the building, if I remember.
That
the
is
site.
correct, so we've kind of tucked that back away as best we can. And again, we, per Drew's point earlier, we went through about 10 iterations of the site plan, and trying to make this work with both access, you know, obviously the traffic study and traffic safety is paramount with people coming in and out of here, and just overall trying to make the site fit. And because of this right-of-way take at the corner, you know, we weren't able to shove this building up in the corner like we needed to. It just didn't fit. So that's really why we're requesting the variance.
One more question, ma'am, I do see you, I will ask you, just give me a minute, okay? One more question, there was an issue regarding music. Anything being portrayed like that, or?
We have some sites where we do play music.
Yeah.
If that's not allowed per your zoning ordinances,
Yes.
we don't do it.
Okay, thank you. And ma'am, you had something, I'm just gonna allow it, I'm not gonna keep going back. Please do, thank you.
According to the site plan, there is patio and chairs outside of this little restaurant.
Yeah, that is correct. That's an amenity we offer our customers. We have about 14 seating spaces out on the side, on the west side of the road, and it's, you know, we have a lot of grab-and-go food, obviously made to order, so customers will come in for lunch, grab a bag of food, come out and sit outside, and then leave.
But basically, it's kind of a out to thing, kind of like a Taco Bell or something like that, that's an intermediate area that could have seating.
Yeah, it's just a small seating area,
Small
14
seating, I
people. All the
believe.
benches are
Yeah.
anchored down,
Yeah.
permanently installed either to the ground or to the wall.
Okay.
So they're not movable.
And
that
they're
makes sense.
monitored to not have loitering or anything like that. am I
Correct. We have cameras all over the site, including the seating area outside.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
I would like to finish addressing
Please do.
the other comments, though, if that's okay.
Please do, yes.
Yeah. One of the comments were about property values and how this development is going to decrease property values. I would say that there's no study or research that says that replacing an eyesore that exists today with a new, clean, well-built development is going to decrease surrounding property values. There was some concern about wetlands. I don't believe the area on the rear side of our property which abuts the Woods condos, I don't believe that is a wetland. If it is, it's not a wetland that's regulated by Eagle, and I am certain of that. And I can also tell you that green space is not going to be, we are not bringing our development into that green space. That space will remain green. And on top of that, where the existing our development is not going to go any further south than the existing development is.
Let me cut you off for a minute.
Yeah.
I know where you're trying to go with this, but and the board could help me out here. This evening, we're only looking at the parking spaces and the setback requirements, and we're kind of going over.
Okay.
Now, and Mr. LaBelle, I believe it will come to planning. And during when it does come to planning, they will discuss it. Anything that we do this evening regarding variances, don't have any type of blessing that this project is gonna start tomorrow. All we're talking about is the setbacks and the parking spaces. And that's what our authority is to move on. After this, if it denied or approved, it may be denied, but they may redo the site, but they're still gonna go to planning commission possibly. And that's where more of this stuff could actually come out. I just know we have a lot of residents this evening, and I want everyone to be up to speed. That's where we're going with. So I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'm trying to get on the issue at hand. Counselor?
One final word. Drew
Please
said
do.
least bad, because this is a tough site.
Yes.
It's a tough site, it's contaminated, it's a little small. That's what he said, it was a tough site to work with. This was the best thing they could come up with. Maybe use some bad words, but it's a tough site to redevelop, but they're committed to doing so.
Yeah, by no means is it a least bad option in terms of a development.
Right.
It was more about a layout perspective and how to make a tough site lay out well. It's a great improvement.
Thank you. Thank you. Anything additional from our right here?
If you wouldn't mind, Mr. Chairman, if I could have a moment, I can still answer. There were a few more questions that were asked that I want to make sure that the residents understand. When they do come in front of us in planning, one of them was already addressed. We will request a traffic study. We'll deal with that during the site planning, if in fact it is approved this evening. Another one was asked, we were asking about the water. That's an engineering function with the township, and planning doesn't even take care of that. Our engineers, our township engineers, will take care of, make sure there's no water running into your property, the water's going where it's supposed to go. It's quite an extensive process that our engineers take care of. As far as the speaker time goes, please come to our planning commission. I've stated in the past, we love it when the residents come out and then they talk, and we talk through things. You know, one of the things that I can suggest is you know, if you do bring that up to them, maybe we can limit when they can use speakers outside, so that it's not going on at night. We have the right to do that. As far as the wall goes, the 6-foot wall, because of the zoning of this piece of property and the zoning behind, there's a requirement for a barrier. It can be a berm, it could be a fence, it can be a concrete wall. There's nothing there now. So they're bringing this property up to our ordinance level by putting a wall in there. There has to be a separation between that type of development and your residential property. That's the reason that they're putting that wall in there. But we'll talk about that again during planning if you choose to join us. And I would like to also petition the representative this morning. Another thing that was brought up was junk food. What kind of food is going to be served there? Is it junk food, or is it wholesome foods?
Yeah, I believe that gentleman will be the best one to speak on it. Please do, thank you. Thank you so much.
Again, David Bruckelmeyer with Sheets. We have a range of foods. I am going to tell you that not all of them are healthy. However, I want to point out that we have everything from rice and bean bowls to nice burritos, salads, all kinds of meal options like that. You know, I'm not going to stand up here and tell you that every type of food is healthy, but we all make choices on what we eat. I'm not going to say I make all the right choices all the time. But we do have some options that are definitely healthy, and we have options that are catered towards all kinds of things like subs that are healthy, low-cal. We have grilled chicken on the menu. We have grilled steak on the menu. We have that kind of thing.
Thank you. And thanks again, Mr. Bell, for bringing people up to speed on the planning commission functions, which is different from ZBA. Anybody else wish to address? Anybody? Mr. DeMaster, any wise words of wisdom?
I have nothing.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We have looked at it. We have two petition numbers. We can combine, but I think we can move ahead and vote on it individually, if that's okay with the board. Okay? And I think since they're in numbers, I think we'll move on them numerically, and I believe the first one is 2023-06. And what's the board's pleasure on that one? That is the one where I believe the setback.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, can I make a motion?
Please do, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the variance ZBA petition 2023-06. Three items I'd like to include in my motion is, the first one is unnecessary hardship would result from the strict enforcement of the ordinance. In my mind, in my eye, I'm seeing that because of the area that it's in, the large drain that runs through the project, the cutting of the corner, if we did enforce strictly the ordinance, there would be no way that this could function or work. The second one is the hardship results from conditions that are particular to the property. Absolutely. Again, the way that the cutoff is in the corner, the sewer, the size, the location, absolutely it does. And was the hardship, the last thing is, was the hardship self-inflicted? No, this is not something that they did to themselves. It's something that is an existing condition, and we have an opportunity here to clean up a hazardous site. And with that, I make a motion to approve.
Support.
Been to Mr. Sievert's motion writing. Yeah. Your handwriting. But good, really excellent motion, thank you. I have a motion, I have support. Any comments or concerns on the motion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion does carry. Once again, that doesn't mean development's gonna begin. They still need to go to planning. And our next one we have is the one, I believe that's 2023-07, and that is regarding the spaces for the vehicles. What's the board's pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, if I could have the applicant come up again?
Please do.
Just a quick question for you. You're asking for a variance for three car positions, correct? Mr. Kirk? Yes. 3 positions? Just a simple question. I'm reviewing your drawing again. And on your drawing, your site plan drawing, it's not numbered. You show the, up in, I guess it would be the northwest corner of the property where the angle, the cutoff is from the road. You show the 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 6 tanks that are going in there. And then you also have the turning radius on my drawing for the trucks that impede that area. If in fact the township would you consider the township banking 3 spots there? If in fact you find yourself that you need the extra 3 spots, can we put three spots parallel to 23 Mile Road on that corner and have it employee parking? And then that way, you're outside, if you run parallel with the curb, you're outside of the turning radius, but you would, you'd be partially achieving our ordinance.
Would those stalls align with like the tanks that you see there?
I wish we could put it up on the screen.
Parallel?
Why don't you step up to the podium, please?
If you'd like to come up, I can show you what I'm talking about.
Yeah, please step up and.
That's not fair to the rest of the public, but
Yeah.
you've got this the turning radius here for the trucks. You've got this curb line right here.
Okay.
What if we banked 3 spots? If in fact the township deems that you need to have the additional parking, have it parallel with that curb cut or that curb line, and that would achieve our situation.
So basically, where we're at with this right now is, can 3 additional spaces be utilized in a different part on the development?
Mr. Chairman, should I share this with the public if anybody would like to see?
You can if someone would like to come up, but I don't know if I really want to go down that road.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's on the website, and, we're just moving parking spaces around. Really, as a board, we should not be really designing projects for them. We can suggest, and really, we're taking a look at 3 spots for this development. I don't know if that's really gonna make or break the development, because there's always ways of moving spots around when, you get to the final design of the project.
So a couple of things.
Please do, thank you.
We've done a pretty intensive internal traffic study. One of the awesome things about our organization is we have a lot of in-house people doing data crunching and things like that. And they actually took a look at our transaction numbers per hour and per quarter hour and kind of extrapolated out a lot of data and combined it and did a full study on how much parking we really need. So across our platform, we need 43 spaces, including what's parked at the fuel island, to, be covered for 99.9% of our capacity needs. So 99.9% of the time, we have parking open. Does that make sense? So if we have 43 spaces, including what's parked at our pumps, so we actually are providing an additional 12 here, but your ordinance doesn't take those into account. So I feel very comfortable about the number of parks we have on this site. I think our real estate people do as well, who are ultimately responsible for, making sure our sites function and that our customers are happy. If that's something you require is potentially banking 3 parking spaces parallel, I think we could absolutely look at that. What I would like to say, though, is I have a fuel dumping operation right there, and I prefer personally, from the engineering perspective, to keep parking away from the dumping operation. Does somebody come up while the truck's there and need to get their truck out? That's not great. If they're locked in and we're dumping fuel, it doesn't take too long, but are they really gonna wanna wait 10 minutes to get their car out? That's not great, especially if a customer ends up pulling in. And also we're dumping fuel. That's something I like to keep people away from, but if that's a condition you need to impose, then I don't think I would be against that.
Okay, thank you.
So we looking at denying their requests for the reduction? Is that because they could find it someplace else on site? Is that where we want to go with that? That's a question to the board.
Mr. Chairman, a review of the site, I just don't see where else they could put cars.
Yeah, yeah.
As far as cars being on top of the tank, they've already have 2 spots on
Right.
top of the tanks anyway.
Yeah.
And that's why, and it's something, again, we can do in planning.
Yeah,
It's just a recommendation at this point to, as part of this motion, to bank those 3 spots so that we can achieve and satisfy our ordinance.
Well,
I understand that they've done studies.
We have been in front of us, regarding the spots and a lot of issues. I know the assisted living across the street, I don't know if any of you were on the board at that period of time, where they came and reduced spaces. MJR is probably one up on the top, that they reduced some spaces, so.
I would say, in my opinion, that we'd leave that restrictions up to the planning department and not on our end.
Okay,
Either we approve it or we don't, but not put restriction.
yeah,
Let the planning department do that.
yeah. I understand that, and, let me see exactly how they requested us. And, to allow 30 cents from the required for. And also, I believe it's been touched on, in our ordinance, we don't take in consideration the parking spaces under the canopy. So, that would be additional parking spaces they would have on site. Once again, is, an often question, we always seem to run into them lately, parking spaces on property. Like I mentioned 2 of them right off the top of my head. I know we were kind of reluctant, but we went to that direction, and every time I pass those 2 entities, I never see cars piled on top of one another. So that's the only thing that I could add at this time.
Mr. Chairman?
Please, Counselor.
We have no problem if you want to impose a condition of banking 3 spaces. Usually there's language to the effect if the township deems they're needed, that we're willing to stripe those 3 spaces. We have no problem with that being a condition. We won't do it now, but the township determines.
I'm gonna make a motion that we approve petition 2307, 37 parking spaces of the 40. We believe there's adequate parking on site, and they have proven a practical difficulty with the calculation regarding canopy parking. That's a motion to approve.
Support.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Gentlemen, you're done with us, but you have some work to do with the residents. I appreciate you would touch base with them and see what we could do to make this a nice transition. I think it's gonna be a positive because we are gonna clean the site up a little bit, but it still goes to planning. And it seems like your organization has a handle on traffic studies and everything, so that should not be a problem to bring out for the planning commission level. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. They're gonna have to file a petition for it. You could check with the office when they do, you know, or check the website, just the website on that too. And they'll be helpful with that. Okay, thank you folks for coming and joining us this evening. Appreciate the input. Thank you. Okay, moving right along. Old business, anything old and that we need to dust off or not? Mr. DeMaster, anything new and exciting that's going to bring us into next year?
There is so much construction going on, residential apartments, we got new subs that we're starting to issue house permits on. I mean, Rick knows, there's just something on every corner of the township going on.
Well, that's a good thing.
And
Good thing.
Chick-fil-A did apply.
Did apply?
Yep, they applied for building, so,
Okay,
I mean, I think we just got it Monday, maybe Friday,
okay.
so that's gonna be kinda nice. I could go on and on, I mean, there are just so many projects.
Well, that's a good thing. The economy's going good,
It is
hopefully.
going good, and they're still spending
Please do,
money.
yeah, go ahead. Just talk it in.
So what's happening with that Lefty's cheesesteak in front of Premier Lanes that we granted the variance for, if it just sits there?
That one's a mess. I mean, it's sitting there, and they've decided to try something different. I don't know, did you hear that they might do a fitness place? And Jonathan told them, well, if you do a fitness, your special land use will expire, so it's a mess. So I don't know actually to date what's going on. They were approved for Lefties, and then they went to your aunt's chicken, ex-wife's chicken, and now they wanted maybe do a fitness center. I don't know how they could do a fitness center. The roof doesn't even seem high enough for anything. You couldn't jump. I don't know.
The way I lift weights.
So you can put a fitness center in front of the fitness center, right?
We already talked about that. That's a common sense kind of thing. Other than that, there's a lot going on, Marv.
Okay, thank you so much. We did have meetings from a prior meeting. I believe it was on the site. Are we okay with that? I'd like to get them approved. You could sign off on them when we're done then. That's why I handed it over to you. Do we have a motion on the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from October 25th.
Support.
All in favor, say by saying aye.
Aye.
And motion has been approved on the minutes, and I just make a comment, they look a lot better than they did prior, so I guess we're moving in the right direction in that area. Super. Any additional comments from the floor? Any additional comments from the board?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to wish everybody a happy holiday and enjoy your time off, and we'll see you next year.
Super. 2024.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Support.